Donald Trump looks worn out, beat down, very fatigued looking. A very fatigued looking Donald Trump held a bizarre Oval Office press conference with the Prime Minister of Ireland as he continues to attack Europe. And he also says that Ireland is taking advantage of the United States. And he criticizes the policies of Ireland, but says, you're taking advantage of us. Everybody's taking advantage of us. Well, Donald, you're in charge now, and you are screwing everything up. During this bizarre presser with the Ireland prime minister right there, Donald Trump's like, everything is transgender these days. It's all transgender. Here, play this clip.
And they should not, and they're also demeaning women. But who would want these things? And everything's transgender. Everybody transgender. That's all you hear about. Now, that's why we won the election in record numbers. But very importantly, now it is what it is. The Democrats should get with us and come up with good tax policy.
What world is this psychotic individual living in? First and foremost, no. Number two, can we focus, please, on the fact that you're tanking the markets, that we appear to be headed for a recession if we're not already in one right now, and you keep starting these stupidest trade wars every day? Here, a fatigued Donald Trump says, I can't hear. I can't hear everybody. Here, play this clip.
No, that's enough, Kelly. Thank you.
President, is there anything that the Taoiseach could say to you today that would dissuade you from going ahead with
I can't hear.
Mr. President, it's Irish American Appreciation Month. You've made.
Maybe listen closer. Maybe listen, Donald. Next up, Donald Trump attacks NATO and says negative things about NATO and that NATO got all of their money from Trump. That's how NATO got rich, off of Trump. Here, play this clip.
Very generous to me. He said, I've never seen anything like it. Money came in by the billions and billions and billions of dollars, and NATO became much stronger. Now, NATO's expended a lot of that money in fighting this horrible war. It's too bad they had to do that. But they had the money from me. I was the one that got people to pay. The countries, most of the countries were not paying, or they were paying a very small amount. So we'll see. But NATO can be a force for the good, absolutely.
Would you like to see Ireland join NATO, Mr. President?
That's up to Ireland.
Delusional individual. A reporter then asked Donald Trump if America has a future in NATO, and then you'll see that Fox cuts away as Donald Trump doesn't respond that America should stay in NATO. Yes, Vladimir Putin is happy, and that's why Fox cuts away immediately. Play this clip.
But I hope to be able to get there.
Mr. President, does America have a future in NATO?
What's it?
Does America have a future in NATO?
Well, NATO has to treat us fairly. If they pay their bills and if they do what they're supposed to do. When I first got involved with NATO, as you know, they weren't paying their bills. There were 28 countries and most of them weren't paying. And I got them to pay. And they paid billions and billions of dollars. I made a certain statement that I'm not going to be involved with NATO unless you're going to pay your bills. And I was asked a question, if we don't pay, are you going to help us? I said, no. If you don't pay, you're saying you're delinquent. A real estate term. You're delinquent.
All right, so President Trump, together with the Taoiseach of Ireland, Michael Martin, talking about...
Also, as Donald Trump saying, everything's transgender, or whatever the hell he's even talking about with the Irish Prime Minister right there. Again, just take a look at the markets, like the NASDAQ down 10% in the past month, the Dow Jones down almost 7%, the S&P almost 8%. Here, Donald Trump is asked if Ireland is taking advantage of the U.S., and he says, of course they're taking advantage of us. Here, play this clip.
Will you put more tariffs on the EU?
I know this gentleman. He'll get his solved.
Will you put more tariffs on the EU? Will you respond to their retaliation?
Oh, of course I'm going to respond.
You will retaliate with more tariffs?
Our country didn't respond. Look, the EU was set up in order to take advantage of the United States.
Including Ireland? Is Ireland taking advantage of the U.S.?
Of course they are. I can't, I have great respect for Ireland and what they did. And they should have done just what they did. But the United States shouldn't have let it happen. We had stupid leaders. We had leaders.
Once upon a time, America was the most powerful nation in the world with the strongest economy in the world. Do you think we got that way because everybody's taking advantage of us? Or do you think that American foreign policy allowed America to be an economic superpower? I know logic's very difficult with these MAGAs. Next, Donald Trump is shocked that there are parties in Ireland that are boycotting him or Maybe he just can't hear the question. I don't know. You judge for yourself. Let's play it.
That the United States is recognised as having such an important role in the peace process, and yet half the parties from the Northern Ireland government have decided not to come to St. Patrick's Day celebrations.
They haven't, what?
They haven't come over, they're boycotting the St. Patrick's Day celebration.
What are they boycotting?
They are talking about your position on Gaza as one of the reasons.
No, I haven't heard that. I really haven't heard that. Look,
Donald Trump has this very weird response to a reporter and says to the reporter, "You're not from Israel." Play this clip.
Israel. Can I ask you about Ireland's relationship with Israel? There's been a lot of talk recently. The government are looking to bring in what's called the Occupied Territories Bill, which would ban goods from occupied territories. I know you met with Prime Minister Netanyahu recently. Did Ireland come up in that conversation? Have you made any concerns about the large government?
one thing I'll tell you, you're not from Israel, that's for sure, huh? She's definitely not from Israel. It's an interesting question coming from you. We talk about everything. Israel has been under siege, as you can see, and they had to fight back. October 7th was a terrible thing. People don't like to mention it, but it was a terrible, terrible day in the life of the world. And it's amazing the way people don't mention that, but it was, I've never seen anything like it. Those are other clips I get to see. You know, as president, you get to see.
White 1. Stay informed, not overwhelmed. Follow credible, nonpartisan news sources to track policies while avoiding sensationalism. Fact-check claims to combat misinformation. 2. Strengthen community ties to build local networks for mutual aid, food shares, child care, to counter instability. Solidarity fosters resilience. 3. Protect civil liberties. Know your rights during protests or encounters with authorities. Support organizations like ACLU fighting legal battles. 4. Safeguard finances. Prepare for economic shifts.
Clips that you'd rather not see, but I see clips, and that was a terrible day for the world.
Then Donald Trump says that Chuck Schumer is a Palestinian, and he uses the term Palestinian as a racial or religious smear. And I guess only Donald Trump is the person who can decide who's Jewish and who's not Jewish, and he can declare whatever your religion is. And then if he declares you Palestinian, he says that as a smear. Here, play this clip.
And Schumer is a Palestinian as far as I'm concerned. You know, he's become a Palestinian. He used to be Jewish. He's not Jewish anymore. He's a Palestinian. Okay.
Again, it's just so utterly bizarre what we're observing right there. By the way, speaking of Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer, hat tip to him. One of the reasons that Trump seems to be very fatigued and beaten down is what he thought, that everyone was just going to roll over to him like these spineless MAGA Republicans, like Canada standing up, Mexico standing up, Europe applying retaliatory tariffs today to the United States, and the Democrats finally fighting Chuck Schumer announcing on the floor in the Senate that the Democrats will not go along with the continuing resolution that MAGA wants to pass that will gut the government and continue to take away your Medicaid and gut all of these programs that DOJ is trying to do. Schumer on the House floor said the Republicans don't have the votes to invoke cloture. We're going to oppose this. So they don't have the votes. Here, watch this.
Mr. President,
the Democratic leader.
Funding the government should be a bipartisan effort, but Republicans chose a partisan path, drafting their continuing resolution without any input from congressional Democrats. Because of that, Republicans do not have the votes in the Senate to invoke cloture on the House CR. Our caucus is unified on a clean April 11th CR that will keep the government open and give Congress time to negotiate bipartisan legislation that can pass. We should
finally, that's what we're looking for. Fight. Don't just go along with these fake continuing resolutions that actually just give Elon Musk a blank check, or should I say a blank Doge shredder to destroy the Department of Education, Department of Agriculture, gut Medicaid. Don't give him the blank check. Why would we do that? A reporter asked Donald Trump what his response is to the fact that Ireland is in the midst of a housing crisis, And Donald Trump says that must be great. Housing crisis means it's because Ireland's doing great. That's why there's a housing crisis. Watch a very fatigued Donald Trump say that. Play this clip.
Could you give the Taoiseach some advice? Could you give the Taoiseach some advice? Ireland is in the midst of a housing crisis now, and I know you've a lot of experience as a businessman. How can the state build tens of thousands of houses at speed?
You know why they have a housing crisis? Because they're doing so well. They can't produce houses fast enough. That's a good problem, not a bad problem.
That's a pretty good answer, President.
No, it's true.
Will you put more tires on?
And then Donald Trump says, just you wait, everybody. The economy is going to soar. Just you wait. Here, play this clip.
And financially, we'll be stronger than ever before. I think the markets are going to soar when they see what's happening. I'll tell you what, I'm called every day by numerous big companies. I spoke at the Business Roundtable yesterday. They had the largest attendance they've ever had. And these are only the CEOs and chairmen, but mostly the people that run the boss, the people that run the top 150 companies. 150 people showed up. Every single company showed up. First time it ever happened. It's been around a long time. The biggest business leaders. We had a great discussion. It went really well. And I want to tell you, there's tremendous optimism out there about our country in terms of regulations being cut, in terms of taxes being cut. And it would be great if the Democrats would do what's right. It would be great if the Democrats would do what's right for our country for a change, because they really are there. They've lost their way. They've lost their way.
Shout out to Senator Bernie Sanders, who's hitting the ground running. And by the way, I hear we're going to be hearing a lot. You saw the interview I did with Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries. Democrats will be going into red states as well, where MAGA Republicans are not holding town halls. But play this clip of Senator Sanders. Play this clip.
Thank you. Well, thank you all. Thank you. Thank you all. No. It is not Bernie. If there is ever a time in American history where it's not one person, but millions of people, this is that time.
And here's Donald Trump's chief propagandist, Caroline Leavitt, saying, look, the tariffs are going great. We're effectively utilizing them. Let's play it.
Most importantly. And so the president will continue to effectively utilize tariffs while, again, driving down the cost of living in this country. Both things can happen at the same time. Just look at President Trump's first term as an example. When he left office, inflation was a low 1.4%. It was only...
Oh, really? You're crashing the markets. You are causing instability, unpredictability, and calamity in the markets. You're destroying people's lives. You're targeting the most vulnerable. You're destroying American workers. You're attacking veterans. You're attacking seniors. You're attacking marginalized groups. You're attacking kids, and particularly poor kids. You're gutting the Department of Education. You're getting rid of Medicaid. You're getting rid of key positions at the FAA and the NIH and the CDC. You're causing chaos. Just let's watch Caroline Leavitt. Tell me what you think, folks. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Reduce debt, diversify income, and save emergency funds to buffer policy volatility. 5. Prioritize mental health. Limit doom scrolling. Engage in offline hobbies and therapy to manage anxiety from political chaos. To engage strategically. Vote in every election. Pressure representatives via calls, letters, and join grassroots campaigns for accountability. 7. Document injustices. Record discriminatory policies, actions. Share evidence through trusted channels to amplify accountability efforts. Follow Meidastouch Network. Invest your time in watching every single video from Meidastouch Network to stay informed and updated about American politics, economy, and even international news related America,